Hey everyone, it's Logan, and this is the second installment for the Thrills United Regional Representative Q&A. If you didn't see the previous video explaining how the Q&A is going to work, click here so this will all make a lot more sense. But this is the second question. What is the most thrilling non-coaster experience you have had?
So I haven't had a single most thrilling moment in my life. Mostly I get nervous when I play the piano in front of hundreds of people in my school, or sometimes when I play with my band. I don't know. I haven't had like the single most exciting moment, but I used to get very happy and sometimes nervous when I play the piano in front of people.
The most thrilling non-coaster thing I've experienced is probably the zip line I did when I took a trip to the Poconos in Pennsylvania 2.5 years ago. It was a zip line where you take a bus to the top and it's like 2,000 feet long. It was so much fun. It was crazy too. Seeing the mountains around you, it was awesome and really thrilling.
Probably the most craziest thing I've done outside of roller coasters is actually public speaking. I spoke at a women's empowerment seminar last year, which was super, super crazy for me. I was incredibly nervous. I actually dropped my flashcards in the middle of the presentation, but I had a great time, and it was just such a thrill and such an exhilarating experience to be on stage.
The most thrilling non-coaster that I've done is the Sky Coaster at Six Flags over Texas. That was literally insane. I felt like I was falling vertical.
My most thrilling non-coaster experience was probably when I went ziplining in South Carolina with Logan, Dane, and Sean. It was really fun. It wasn't the greatest, but it was pretty thrilling, and we had a great time.
The craziest experience that I had, there isn't a coaster. That is an easy choice for me. That is Sky Tower. It is in a theme park. It's in Tivoli Friheden in Denmark. It is a 100-foot free fall directly into a net. You have nothing but a net. That it was one of the crazy experiences in my entire life. That was insane.
What's the most thrilling thing you've experienced outside of amusement parks? Rugby, obviously, like I said, rugby is super thrilling, but one of the things that has been one of the most thrilling is going to New York City. Seeing Hamilton on Broadway, that was an amazing experience. You get so emotionally invested in that. That was awesome. Seeing Broadway shows in general, Beetlejuice was amazing, Chicago was amazing, and just being in New York City in Times Square, it's crazy to see all these people, just all these people in one place, all the big screens. It's really crazy. I love New York City. I love going there. We're gonna try to start going there every year, but it's so thrilling and exhilarating to be in New York City. So yeah.
I think when it comes to the most thrilling non-coaster experience I've had, that's definitely going to go to Tower of Terror. Anytime I ride that ride, it's just terrifying. Since it drops you up and down so much, and all that's holding you is this small seatbelt, that once you learn how to get room on, it just becomes one of the most insane experiences on the planet. I mean, I've gotten so much room on that thing that, you can do this thing. I'm going to teach you guys a trick. Where you lean down and cannonball. I've one time got so much room that when I did that and it did its up and then drops the second it goes up, I not only floated this much off the ground, I rotated back to where the back of my neck was on the seat. I did a full 180 flip on Tower of Terror. I love that, and that's why it's the most thrilling non-coaster experience I've had.
My most thrilling experience outside of coasters was probably the Slingshot at Six Flags New England. And I rode this when I was 8, and I was just terrified out of my mind, but I remember it was really, really fun.
I don't really have a very crazy or thrilling experience besides from amusement parks, roller coasters. I mean, I've been to trampoline parks, but that doesn't really count now, does it? So I don't really know. I would like to try more, but I just haven't really gotten around to it. There's not much stuff around here.
A few years ago, my family went to Lake Tahoe, and we went whitewater rafting. And it was the 4 of us and an instructor in a raft, and we hit this crazy class 3 rapid, and I flew out of the raft. as we were going down. I landed underneath it and I thought I was gonna drown, and I had to swim out, and it was just so scary, and I thought I was gonna die. But it was fun, and afterwards I was shook, and now I'm absolutely terrified of whitewater rafting, so.
Personally, mine was ziplining at a place called Mystic Mountain in Jamaica. I think it was a couple hundred feet above the air, but it was in a really cool jungle rainforest going on a downhill elevation. It was just awesome.
One of the most thrilling things outside of amusement parks and roller coasters that I've experienced is probably tubing. Sometimes it can get pretty crazy. Like when you get outside of the wake, that's when things get really bumpy. So yeah, it's a good time.
Most thrilling experience I've had outside of coasters was definitely Nightmare Sphere Factory at Niagara Falls in Canada, and most people don't even make it out of it. They have to say the secret word and get escorted out. I was able to make it through with my mom, and it was truly terrifying, but it was great.
So my most thrilling experience has to be bungee jumping off of Young's High Bridge in Lexington, Kentucky back of October 2019 with my best friend Zach. And you know, coasters, like, they seem dangerous, but, like, they're obviously really safe. And bungee jumping is safe, too, but it does not seem like it at all. Like, when you're tiptoeing over that edge, like, every instinct in your body is telling you, do not jump. And the thing that made it even scarier was it was all rainy and cold, and we were all, like, wet with our long clothes on. It was pretty gross, and we had to just fly off this bridge. It was just terrifying. But as soon as we dropped off, that was like one of like the best feelings I've ever had, just like free falling, just chilling there. It was a really cool experience. And also bouncing up and feeling that weightlessness, that's like, you know, a ton of roller coasters give airtime, but like that's like the best possible sensation for negative G-forces. It was just surreal. And doing it with my best friend made it much better than doing it alone. It was an incredible experience. And I hope I get to do more bungee jumps like this in different locations in the future. So that's it for all these answers for question number 2. Stay tuned for the next question coming up pretty soon. We'll see you guys later.